Welcome to Sydney. Hey guys, Amanda here from the Lenscap Chronicles, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. I can't wait to have you along as part of the crew. We are in one of my favourite cities in the world, in Sydney. I've just caught a taxi from the Kingsford Smith Airport, which is actually Sydney's international airport, to the hotel I'm staying at called the Intercontinental. I'm staying in one of the most iconic areas in the city, Circular Quay. This is where all of the boats come and stay, the ferries come in and out, the cruise liners ship and dock. It's huge. It's where the Sydney to Hobart race starts every year, where all the boats flood through the harbour, Sydney Harbour, or Port Jackson as it's more accurately known. It's one of a very popular hotel chain, but it's actually really gorgeous, really beautiful and nicely done, and it has got some superb views overlooking Sydney Harbour and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So if I open my window, I'm very, very lucky. I have views across to Sydney Harbour Bridge and to Luna Park, which is kind of a local fairground. And to the right of that is the Opera House, also a super iconic building in the city. Now, if you've never been to Sydney, you do need to watch this video, especially if you're only coming for a few days, because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to fit in, what to eat, drink, see, do, walk, talk, who to meet, where to go. Keep watching because there's going to be so much jam-packed into this video. I used to live here for 4 years, so I do know some good tips and great places to go, and I'm going to share those with you. We will be going there, so stay tuned and let's go and discover Sydney together. We are hitting the ground running with the first stop on our agenda tonight, Aster Bar, which is the 32nd floor of the Intercontinental Hotel, and it has 270-degree views across Sydney Harbour. Let's go check it out. Arriving at Aster Bar instills an intimacy and individualistic quality, with waiters seating you at your reserved table. Be sure to ask for one in the front row with unobscured views of the harbour. If you don't, however, you can easily walk outside to the private decking with unsurpassable views across the Opera House, Sydney Harbour Bridge and Circular Quay. Aster Bar has an extensive wine list and bespoke cocktails, and satisfied my sometimes craving for a martini. My selection of Sydney Rock oysters with finger lime and ginger dressing, Harvey Bay scallop crudo with gochujang dressing and seaweed, and mushroom pate, piccalilli and buckwheat crackers did not disappoint. Seated high above the harbour, revelling in the hum of other satisfied diners and shucking back quality oysters was enough to put me into an absolute seafood coma. If that wasn't enough, the dizzying heights of the Intercontinental Aster Bar was enough to have me floating on cloud nine and appreciating this unique and incredible city in the land down under. Australia is oft mistook for being relaxed and subpar compared to other major cities on a global scale. But don't be fooled, there's much to offer. However, it's good night from us in the city centre. Waking up in Sydney to these cute as cute can be little cups and saucers. Check these out. I don't know if you can see that. It says, "We are kindred." So pretty. So this morning I thought there's no better way of starting our time off in Sydney than exploring Circular Quay. It's really so quintessential, and you feel like you've hit all the big ticket items in one fell swoop when you can see the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the Circular Quay with all the ferries coming in and out, and the Opera House. So we'll be walking around some of these major Aussie icons. Then we'll be walking up to Mrs. Macquarie's chair. That will take us through the botanical gardens, which are so peaceful and beautiful and the perfect place to start your day with a lovely walk. But first I need some food in this belly, some fuel for the road. Let's go check out what the buffet breakfast has to offer at the Intercontinental. This 5-star luxury Intercontinental Hotel is set within the old restored Treasury building of 1951, so there's some unique architecture and design on display as guests make their way to the conservatory for breakfast. Guests are treated to an immense display of breakfast items which flows into the pantry at the end of the room. Don't forget to check this out. Would you believe I completely missed it on my first morning? In the pantry is a selection of pastries, hot dishes, including some curries, cereals, fruits, vegetables, cheese, yogurt, and even a virgin Bloody Mary bar. At the time of creating this video, breakfast cost $50 Australian for adults and 29 Australian dollars for children. We have a 1-minute walk down to Circular Quay and I can already see the bridge in sight. It's been a good few years since I was here in Sydney and I really do love this place. Shame that the weather's not cracking with the sunshine out at the moment. There is nothing better than seeing the sun glistening on the water of the Sydney Harbour. You can hear that big toot in the background, one of the ferries. This is a really central area where you can catch a train, a ferry, there's pedestrian walkways, there's a lot going on here. The local metro card in Sydney is the Opal card, and this is where you can top up to catch your train and get your tickets. Well, the sun is trying to break through. Here we have the Museum of Contemporary Art, which has got some excellent installations, and the bridge, of course. We will delve more into that in a little while. Along here we have all the wharves, total number of 6 where you can catch a ferry to various parts of the city. We will be heading off to Manly a little bit later tonight, one of the more iconic trips that you can do in Sydney, along to the beachside suburb of Manly in the north. We're taking a walk down now the north side of Circular Quay, and this is where a whole heap of amazing restaurants and bars are located. In the evening time this place is absolutely crawling with people, so fortunately I'm here in the morning and it's not so difficult to weave my way in and out. We'll be heading around the point now, around Sydney Opera House, and then on to Mrs. Macquarie's chair. I've made it to one of my favourite places in Sydney. It is one of the big tourist areas, but it's down on the seawall overlooking the bridge and the Opera House. This incredible behemoth of a bridge was built in 1924 and took 8 years to complete construction, with 1,400 men contributing to the final product we see today. It's 1 kilometre long, or over 1 kilometre long, and around 124 metres high. Fun fact, quizzier time, I have a question for you. Which took longer to build, the Sydney Harbour Bridge or the Opera House? I just told you that the bridge took 8 years. Well, the Sydney Opera House took 14 years to build, and there are over 1 million tiles on its roof. And on a sunny day, you'll see them glistening and lit up in absolute glory. Interesting fact is that the shells, they actually are self-cleaning. They were built by a Danish architect in a spherical shape, so that they would withstand the elements and be self-cleaning. So the roof of the Sydney Opera House, as far as I know, has never been cleaned. The Sydney Opera House has an audience capacity of just over 5,000 people, and interestingly, when the Sydney Symphony Orchestra are playing in the concert hall, in order to keep their musical instruments in tune, the temperature in the room needs to be set to exactly 22.5 degrees Celsius. On the other side of the harbour you can see across to Fort Denison, which is generally closed to the public. Straight across there on the point is Kirribilli House, and that is the Prime Minister's residence. So that is where the Australian Prime Minister lives when he is in town. One of the most incredible restaurants in Sydney and in Australia is right here, the base of the Opera House. This is called Bennelong. The Opera House itself is based on Bennelong Point, but these provide just the most incredible viewpoints overlooking Sydney Harbour and some exquisite cuisine. Well, just in case you've had enough of buildings and man-made construction, let's go now to the Royal Botanic Gardens of Sydney. Throughout Sydney you'll come across these huge, extraordinary trees with big, thick branches and trunks. They're the Moreton Bay figs and they are so gorgeous. Go for a walk around one, explore them, sit inside them. They're just so magnificent. If you've seen Sydney Harbour on New Year's Eve, you'll know that there are huge fireworks that go across the bridge, and this park is absolutely packed because there are just some incredible vantage points across to the bridge from here. So, hot tip, if you're in Sydney on New Year's Eve, make your way to the Botanic Gardens. My stroll around to Macquarie's chair has taken a definite detour. These gardens are so beautiful, and I think when you're in a major city with so many kind of concrete jungle elements to it, it's just so nice to escape into nature. You probably know if you're part of my channel that I like to do that a lot. This is such a beautiful little spot to come to in the inner city if you're after some nature and clean, fresh air. Now behind the gardens you can actually see the Centre Point Tower. It says Westfield at the top, and that is Sydney City's highest building. You can actually buy a ticket to the top, and there are some fantastic views of the city from above. Woohoo! The sun is properly out now. These remarkable sandstone cliffs here, just so ancient and beautiful. Look at the colours and the different tiers and layers in that. Guys, I can't believe this happened. I'm sitting on Mrs. Macquarie's chair with not another tourist in sight. The story of Mrs. Macquarie's chair is that Mrs. Macquarie was the wife of the Major General Lachlan Macquarie, and she would sit here in this seat and look out over the harbour to watch the ships rolling in and wait for her sweetheart to come home. I'm super excited because my mum arrives in a couple of hours, so I'm going to go and spend some time with her, but then we are both heading off this evening on the ferry to Manly to catch up with my auntie and uncle. It's a big family affair. So we'll be having dinner at one of the best restaurants that I love in Manly. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's right on the wharf, the water's edge. Trips from Circular Quay to Manly begin at Wharf 3 on Circular Quay. Multiple operators service this route, including Sydney Ferries and Manly Fast Ferry. Prices are the same for both, but do vary according to time of day and day of the week. A one-way trip will cost roughly $9, and ferries leave every 15 to 30 minutes. Tickets can be purchased with either your Opal card or a tap-on, tap-off contactless bank card when entering the wharf. The fast ferry takes around 20 minutes to reach Manly, and the standard ferry around 30 minutes. There is free Wi-Fi and a bar on board because, let's face it, this is Australia. The trip is worth it for the views alone, and when the ferry rounds the Opera House, just exiting Circular Quay, you might need to pick your jaw up off the floor. It's truly a magical sight.
Yeah, really windy.
Yes.
Very choppy.
Yes.
Lots of lights. Great to be on there at night time.
Sydney Harbour, the dream.
Yeah, it was really great. Had a fun time.
Let's go to dinner.
Okay, let's go. If you've been a part of my channel's journey, then many of you will have met my top fella Matthew in my videos, and being a British man, he is very fond of a good high tea. A chance to savour some flavoursome teas whilst indulging in decadent cakes, finger food and cucumber sandwiches. Well, today I awoke to a precious day, knowing that I could share this experience with my beautiful, caring and precious mum. Set within the lush, inviting space on the ground floor of the Treasury in the Intercontinental, the original domed atrium soars above diners and lets natural light stream through, illuminating the bespoke plush furniture and plant fronds dotted around the dining space. Once seated, a glass of sparkling wine was quickly poured. Seeing the joy on my mum's face was priceless, and I'll never forget this afternoon. With the selection of treats and bone china crockery laid out before us, we were both positively buzzing. Sampler pots of the leaves were brought to the table to see and smell, all while being explained by the knowledgeable staff. It made selecting a tea to try much more interactive and fun than just picking off a list. After a quick tutorial on the correct way to use a strainer, thank you Mum, I love you, it was time to delve into the sweet treats and share some happy smiles. Sydney is a little bit grey and gloomy today, so we are off to find one of my favourite activities to do, rain, hail or shine, or sunny day.
at the Opera Bar, which is right next to the Sydney Opera House. I am meeting my mum and my auntie there. Sydney is such a foodie city and there are so many new places to explore and see, but some of my favourite old-time classics are Mr. Wong, Benelong and Quay, and these are all incredible city-based restaurants if you're staying close to the city that you definitely need to check out. They do require a little bit of a steep pocket, I'm not going to lie, but Sydney is a very expensive city, one of the most expensive to live in the world, so if you are after a good night with delicious food, you will have to dig a little deep. It is quite impossible to put down your phone when you come to this area where you can see the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. It's incredible.
Opera Bar is a trendy destination for Sydney inner city workers wanting some Friday after work drinks and tourists alike. The buzz is palpable and the music is pretty groovy. Sometimes you do have to walk a while to find a table, but fortunately there is a lower and an upper concourse, making the challenge slightly more successful.
Guys, this is on a wet, overcast day. Check out how many people are here. It's nuts. So many. Oh, and I found my family. I'm back here in a couple of weeks and I'm going to show you the rest of the city then. Well, I've returned to Sydney and it is an epic day. The sun is shining and the harbour is just absolutely glorious. There is simply nothing better than sitting at Circular Quay with a glass of wine in hand and watching the million diamond sparkles of the sunlight on the water beneath the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. It is truly divine. So this weekend I have a couple of extra activities to show you, things to keep on your bucket list in Sydney, because obviously it was a little bit wet and rainy last time and we've got pitch perfect weather. So today we're heading to the famous Bondi Beach and we'll be completing the Bondi to Coogee walk, which is one of the most beautiful walks along all of the little coves and beaches along the way. If it's good weather you may want to pack your swimwear because you can just stop off in all of the little pools and beaches along the way. It's around 4 kilometers and it will take roughly 1.5 to 2 hours depending on your pace. And later this evening we'll be heading out to the incredibly interesting area, very hipster, punk rocker kind of Newtown. always does surprise me though how small Bondi really is for how famous it tends to be. It's got a couple of TV shows named after it, including Bondi Rescue and Bondi Vet, but we are walking along the famous mural wall where lots of graffiti artists are commissioned in their little patch on the wall. And now we are heading off to the incredible walk around the bluffs and the cliffs. We're ascending the track to the beginning of the Bondi Coogee walk, and we'll be passing Bondi Icebergs, which is where a lot of the well-to-do residents of Bondi will attend their swimming club, which overlooks this gorgeous beach. It's also got a restaurant and a cafe there, so you can pick up some delicious food and enjoy the waves rolling in. Can you believe it? Winter in Australia, absolutely amazing. There are so many great little spots to get a photo overlooking Bondi Beach. The Bondi Coogee walk will take you past so many beautiful beaches on Sydney's east coast. Now, if swimming in the beach is not your thing, then most of the beaches along this coastal route have got saltwater pools, so the waves will be much more under control and it's a bit more of a calm experience. If you're new to Australia and Australian beaches, then you'll pretty soon realise that most beaches have got a surf lifesaving club, and it's encourageable to swim between the flags. And what that means is you should just check out for the 2 flags positioned on the beach and swim between them in the water. That means if you have any issues or any troubles in the water, there'll be some surf lifesavers who will be at your ready and able to help out. But if you don't swim between the flags, there is no guarantees and no promise of help. So be sure to do that to maximise your safety. Lap swimming, Kirribilli Beach is your best bet because it's a really long, thin beach with very few waves and lovely, calm water. Gordon's Bay is one of my favourites, so peaceful and serene. Well, we've done the hard work on our Bondi Coogee walk, and now it's time to check out the eclectic oddball Newtown. Do you want some Transformers with your Thai food?
Yeah.
Ginger infused scallop. Let's give this bad boy a try. Second favourite food group is broccoli, so this is amazing. Photon Thai Photon. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh. Absolutely no idea of the association between Thai food and Transformers. Perhaps you can let me know, but I can only guess that it's the quirky Newtown vibe, and these things are glaring at me with their red eyes. I better get out of here. That's a stormtrooper. You can buy this Bumblebee Transformer for 24,000 Australian dollars. If you just happen to come to a Thai restaurant and have that amount lying in your pocket, you can be the owner of this incredible Transformer. 29,000 Australian dollars. Our next destination is down a tiny street in Newtown called Mary Street. And the venue, Mary's, is only lit up by one tiny little red light. That's the sign of how to get into this place. This is an icon. Let's go check it out. my drinks, but there are two iconic drinks in Newtown. This is the Newtowner from Young Henry's, which is the local brewery just down the road, and this is Archie Rose, the local distillery. Gin, for all you gin lovers. So here are my two recommendations if you're out in Newtown for some local drinks. Must be time to check out one of Newtown's only rooftop bars. Let's go! West is best. Newtown is very well known for its artistic style. There are so many wall graffiti artists in this area. And it's super fun walking around some of the back streets, checking out all the graffiti. Okay, final options for getting home from King Street back to Circular Quay. We're going to go with the Uber, but you can walk down to the Newtown station and catch the train in quite easily, or you can get the bus in to Circular Quay. Quite a few options for this incredibly buzzy nightlife area in Sydney. One of my favourites, but time for bed for us. We've decided to head down to the Rocks. It's a rich historical area beneath one of the pylons of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and there's the Rocks Discovery Museum, which will tell you all about its history. It's called the Rocks because of the incredible sandstone formations around there, and you'll find so many buzzy little pubs, some of the oldest in Australia, shops, boutiques, markets, all nestled in these rocks. They've been excavated throughout time, so you can wander around some little cobblestone streets. It's a really lovely place to get lost, and on Saturdays they have the Rocks markets. So opposite the entry to the Glenmore Hotel, which by the way has an epic rooftop bar, you need to catch this elevator which will take you up to the top of the Harbour Bridge, and you can either walk across it or it will take you to the pylon lookout. At the pylon, and there are just some simply magnificent views across the harbour, the Opera House, the P&O cruise liner and Circular Quay. Wow, this is magnificent. The entire city of Sydney laid out before us. extra $400 lying around, you can actually climb to the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, as you can see these people behind me doing. This varies according to whether you do a day, dusk or night climb, and the dusk is the most expensive, but the views obviously are incredible and best if you're a photographer. You'll be chained to the actual bridge, so you can't actually take any loose items, which means no phones unfortunately, and you will be subject to buying the professional photos that they will take on your behalf. It's an incredible experience, not one we're doing today, but I have done it before and it's simply remarkable. The views are unparalleled, albeit a little bit windy near the top. They actually get the cruise liners back into the harbour. They actually drag it out. We're watching the P&O cruise liner leave now and it's being dragged out by this tiny little yellow boat. And we're now walking across the bridge at ground level, right next to all of the cars. Obviously we're in a little cage enclosure across to North Sydney, and from there we'll have impeccable views back looking across to the Opera House. That was absolutely epic watching the P&O cruise leave from Circular Quay. I've never seen that before, even though I lived here for 4 years. Absolutely incredible. They had ABBA's Voulez-Vous on loudspeaker as it departed the harbour. So cool. Everyone was up on deck waving. Oh my gosh, I am not the biggest on cruises, but after seeing that, I'm a little tempted. On the other side of the bridge in North Sydney, a very affluent area of the city, and the sky this evening is so lovely. I think I need to stop harping on about it, but it's pink and purple and absolutely gorgeous. I am picking up a couple of local boutique beers to surprise Matthew because he's gone down to take the time lapse and photography of the sunset, which I'm sure he'll kindly lend to me for this video. So this is a little present to say thank you. And a lot of these are actually from the places we've been. So there's Rooftop, which is from the Inner West where we were last night. There's a Bondi beer. There's a few others. I'll show you in just a tick. So this is the Broughton Street lookout in Olympic Park. Oh gosh, so gorgeous. So we're at the Jeffrey Street Kirribilli Wharf, and this is quite close actually to where the Prime Minister lives, in Kirribilli House. So the Australian Prime Minister, every time there's a change, have to vacate. This place is unreal for a sunset, and I've located Matthew. Let's go give him his little present. Got you a selection of beers from all the places we've been to.
Cool. Curly Lewis.
Curly Lewis, that's Bondi. Oh, that was for me.
Yeah, that's
Yuli's, that was Manly. After an incredible evening of photographing the sunset over Sydney Harbour,
We didn't get very far actually. We've stopped by this lovely little Japanese Korean fusion restaurant and we've ordered a traditional seafood pancake that I've seen looks about the size of a pizza and a half platter of sashimi. After this, we'll be heading back to the Rocks to check out the oldest pub in Sydney and some of the other buzzy nightlife places around it. Sake. I am not gonna lie, I don't quite know what I'm doing when it comes to sake, but I do enjoy the taste. So if anyone can tell me if it's better had cold or hot, I would really appreciate it, and why. It's very smooth, very fruity. There is nothing better on a cold night than miso soup. One of my absolute faves. No trip to the Rocks is complete without visiting the Fortune of War. This is Sydney's oldest pub, opening in 1828. Cheers. Jenny?
Well, I have to sing my Sam Smith song, but other than that, I think I'm
Backstreet Boys.
And Juliet.
Sydney Karaoke.
What is this about? Do you eat all the cakes? Tell me about cakes. Thanks for being Ian.
Just 1 hour for 3 people. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. The two though.
We're expecting you to sing.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
If I ask you to scratch my back, you know the levitation artifacts. If I put on you a little to make you understand. I fall into your arms.
This is English. Maybe with this one.
Hello.
Yeah, echoing really.
Turn that camera off now. You have believed you'd come along. And
Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. So why can't I turn off the radio? The stereo beats for you, so it's in love. Hear my thoughts, you never know. Oh, where is the love? Where is the love? Whatever happened to the love is only reality. Whatever happened to the best quality. It's like love is when animosity. Lack of understanding, lack of unity. That's the reason why sometimes we never know. That's the reason why.
We are currently in Campbells Cove at the Rocks, and we are about to embark on a pretty cool mission. We will be getting aboard a tall ship, which are very old school, quaint, old style ships, complete with masts, and we will be travelling around or sailing around the Sydney Harbour, the Port Jackson, taking in all of the iconic sights from the water. There are various options that the Sydney tall ships offer. You can do a champagne cruise, brunch, a sunset dinner. We're doing the lunch cruise, a fairly basic lunch, definitely not fine dining, but the main attraction is of course all the landmarks around Sydney Harbour that you can see from the ship. You can also climb the mast, which of course we're going to do.
Now it's going to be up to the captain as to which way we sail, because we do want to get those sails working for us. So we may end up going that way first, coming back. So we'll see. So my name's Ruth, and before we get on board, I need to make sure you're here.
Walking the plank. Oh, thank you.
One for you and one for
Matthew. Thank you.
All right.
Hello.
Very good.
All aboard the Coral Trekker. Now I have my special wristband on, and this is gonna get me access to climb the mast. So one of the special activities for $30 pre-booking or $50 once you're on board, you can actually climb to the top of one of these tall ships. Pretend to be a bit of a pirate and enjoy the harbour from the top of the ship.
So we're going to head upstream. Jones Island, maybe Darling Harbour a bit. I am Captain James Harbour.
Welcome aboard Coral Trekker. It's one of 3 that we have in our fleet. They are all timber hull ships. We want to be safe while we're on the water. So the best rule I can give you is please keep both feet on the deck. The only condition if you are climbing the mast is that you've had no alcohol before you climb. Rice with butter chicken, vegetable curry, there's a potato salad.
Where do you come from?
around one of my favourite cities in the world, Sydney. If you've enjoyed the video or it's been of some use to you, then please give it a like, and if you want to join the team, the Lenscap Chronicles team, then please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you on board. See you in the next video.